Numbers chapter 27. Then came the daughters of Zelophehad, the son of Hepher, the son of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, of the families of Manasseh, the son of Joseph. And these are the names of his daughters: Mahlah, Noah, and Hoglah, and Milcah, and Tirzah. And they stood before Moses, and before Eleazar the priest, and before the princes, and all the congregation by the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, saying, Our father died in the wilderness, and he was not in the company of them that gathered themselves together against the Lord in the company of Korah, but died in his own sin, and had no sons. Why should the name of our father be done away from among his family, because he hath no son? Give unto us therefore a possession among the brethren of our father. And Moses brought their cause before the Lord. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, The daughters of Zelophehad speak right. Thou shalt surely give them a possession of an inheritance among their father's brethren, and thou shalt cause the inheritance of their father to pass unto them. And thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel, saying, If a man die and have no son, then ye shall cause his inheritance to pass unto his daughter. And if he have no daughter, then ye shall give his inheritance unto his brethren. And if he have no brethren, then ye shall give his inheritance unto his father's brethren. And if his father have no brethren, then ye shall give his inheritance unto his kinsman that is next to him of his family, and he shall possess it. And it shall be unto the children of Israel a statute of judgment, as the Lord commanded Moses. And the Lord said unto Moses, Get thee up into the mount Abarim, and see the land which I have given unto the children of Israel. And when thou hast seen it, thou also shalt be gathered unto my people, as Aaron thy brother was gathered. For ye rebelled against my commandment in the desert of Zin, in the strife of the congregation, to sanctify me at the water before their eyes, that is the water of Meribah in Kadesh in the wilderness of Zin. And Moses spake unto the Lord, saying, Let the Lord, the God of the spirits of all flesh, set a man over the congregation, which may go out before them, and which may go in before them, and which may lead them out, and which may bring them in, that the congregation of the Lord be not as sheep which have no shepherd. And the Lord said unto Moses, Take thee Joshua the son of Nun, a man in whom is the Spirit, and lay hand upon him, and set him before Eleazar the priest, and before all the congregation, and give him a charge in their sight. And thou shalt put some of thine honor upon him, that all the congregation of the children of Israel may be obedient. And he shall stand before Eleazar the priest, who shall ask counsel for him after the judgment of Urim before the Lord. At his word shall they go out, and at his word they shall come in, both he and all the children of Israel with him, even all the congregation. And Moses did as the Lord commanded, and he took Joshua and set him before Eleazar the priest, and before all the congregation. And he laid his hands upon him, and gave him a charge, as the Lord commanded, by the hand of Moses. There are three, at least I think three, very important things in this chapter, which are totally unique, so far as I am aware, among all the cultures in the Middle East, at that time especially. First one, the daughters of a man who had died in the wilderness, but who had not rebelled against God, went to Moses and said, why should our father's name be blotted out? He didn't do anything wrong. He's entitled, and his family is entitled to an inheritance. His family was these daughters. And in every culture, you need to understand, the women got nothing. They were possessions, by and large. They were looked upon as being tools, like the grindstone to make the flour. And Moses went and talked to God, and God said, these women are right. So, if a man has a son, in order that the sons had responsibilities to look after their sisters. It wasn't as though the sisters got nothing. They had a responsibility to be looked after by the family. But if there were no sons, the daughters could inherit the property directly. And that was incredibly unusual for the time, for the age, and for the place. And that just shows how Heavenly Father is no respecter of persons. Second thing is Heavenly Father tells Moses, go up and have a look at the land, because that's all you're going to see of it. You are not going in with them. And he tells him he's not going in because he didn't honor God in the matter of striking the rock to bring the water instead of speaking to the rock and bringing the water. But as I mentioned at the time, I think, just as God said to Adam that the ground would be cursed for his sake, would bring forth briars and thorns, and would not yield his strength for his sake. And the sake was that Adam would have to learn to work in order to get it, and the learning to work would be a blessing, not a curse. Here, he had a servant who for 40 years had led what seemed to be just about the most rebellious people on the face of the earth, who complained every time the wind changed, who got manna, and our soul loatheth this light bread, who every time something happened, they're ready to get back up and go back to Egypt. So much so that Moses couldn't believe it anymore, and he complained to God, if I found favor in your sight, kill me now. I can't handle these people. And I think this was actually less about a judgment on Moses for not doing what he was told to do. There might have been an element of that, but more a blessing of getting Moses out of there and retiring him from active duty. Because here's the point. Heavenly Father rewards good and bad in everybody. The bad has its own reward and the good has its own reward. And you can pretty well judge whether or not, and I can't do this in everybody's life because you don't know the circumstances of what's happened and why. But there aren't that many people who get translated, in other words, who die without tasting death, go up to be with Heavenly Father without tasting death. And we'll find out that's exactly what happened to Moses. That's reserved for a few extraordinarily valiant servants. That pretty well classifies Moses as an extraordinarily valiant servant. And here we see him being told this, that he's going to die, and he's not going to go see the promised land. He delivered the people there, but he isn't going to get to go across. And he said the only thing he's worried about is the thing he's been worried about all along is the people. Appoint a servant. And so what he does is, Heavenly Father says, take Joshua the son of Nun, and Moses does what all authorized servants do when they're going to pass on authority. They lay their hands upon the head of the individual, and they charge them and give them the authority that they have had, and pass it on in the sight of people who know, so that people know who the new leader is. And that's how the authorized servants of God have done it from the beginning and do it today. 3 very important things to remember.